Welcome back, horror fans, cinephiles, and Giallo enthusiasts. This is Tanner Leeser, your host for all things Giallo, here on The King and Giallo, and this is another unscripted talking head movie review for the 1972 Giallo film, The Weapon, the Hour, and the Motive. So I have this courtesy of Arrow Videos Black Box, the Essential Giallo Collection, Black Edition, whatever it's called, and yeah, so this was my first time watching this movie. This is also an Italian movie that sometimes people will say this is not a Giallo. Just one of those. We get a lot of those movies that half the people will say, no, it is not. And, well, this seems to be one of those ones. And I guess I could kind of see why people might say that, but like I was saying, if you go deep enough in Giallo films, you get a lot of them that are that break the mold. I don't want to beat you over the head with this again, but so I think it's a Giallo. Why not? It's also a bit Nunsploitation for like no reason. Honestly, all of those moments could have been cut and the movie would have been just fine. Just fine. All it added was some nudity and some S&V. But okay, so I love this. The IMDb plot synopsis for the movie is: a sexually promiscuous priest is stabbed to death inside a church. And that's all it says. And it's like, yeah, but there's more to it. Let me see if I could... let me see if Wikipedia has more. Wikipedia does have more. It says, Don Giorgio, played by Maurizio Bonuglia, a handsome priest who teaches in a convent, has been having affairs with two different women. He decides to break off relations with both of them, and soon after, he is murdered. The police suspect one of the two women of the murder, but the field is narrowed when one of the two women has her throat slashed. The police learn that a little boy, Arturo Trina, witnessed one of the killings, but they're not sure if he is reliable. That's a better description, I'll say. Yeah. So, yeah, this movie is, gosh, I'll just say this movie is fine. It's got a lot of good people working on it, and this is the only film ever made or ever directed by Francesco Mazzei. He also co-wrote it with, I want to say Marcello Aliprandi, Mario Bianchi, Bruno Di Geronimo, Vinicio Marinucci. Wow, a lot of people worked on this. And the priest who gets killed early on, like 15-20 minutes in, is Maurizio Bonuglia, who was in the Fifth Chord. And then we have the Commissario, Franco. Boito is Renzo Montagnani, I think. One thing that I did think about the movie, and then funny enough, this is what Arrow says on the back of the box for it, and this was something I totally agreed with, was that with a lot of Giallo films of the 70s, you either are going to get ones that are leaning more into the sex and violence, the sensationalism of the genre in that, and then other ones are going to take a more classic cinematic approach, even a very European approach, of more focused on the characters and this slow unwinding of the plot through that. And yes, that is definitely true of Giallo films, is that they could be one or the other. This one does try to bring both of those elements together. And for me, I don't think this is a bad movie, but I don't think it really like stuck that landing. Yeah, again, to say that it's not that it's bad, it is just, it's fine. It was fine. I was interested to see where it was going to go, especially because there were a lot of red herrings. Initially, there's like a groundskeeper at the convent who has a problem with the priest because he like drove over the garden and he threatens him with a sickle. And so initially I'm thinking, it's not going to be that guy because they're trying way too hard early on to make us think it's going to be him. Then you've got the two women that he's sleeping with. He's sleeping with Orchidea and Giulia, and Orchidea is played by Bedy Moratti, and I didn't find a lot about her going into it, but then Giulia is played by Ava Chemaris, who was in The Cat in Heat. Giulia's got a husband, so while having an affair with the priest, that's an issue. So immediately you're like, okay, it could be one of the two women. It could be Giulia's husband, because he's being cucked. Then there was another priest, and I don't really recall what his name was, but I was suspicious of him because I'm like, well, it's another priest in a giallo. So, and they're not really focusing on him, so he could have had a good reason to be like, I want to get rid of this corrupt, father, and then I'll take over the parish. I guess it would be just the convent. And then there's a little boy who is, what was his name? Ferruccio, who had been adopted by the convent. He's like an orphan. And yeah, he's a little weird, but he's also, I don't know, it's like to think it's going to be a kid. There are giallo films that have had a kid be the killer. So I wasn't ruling him out either, but there was a lot to go on. There was a lot of people. I'm like, oh, fuck, this is going to be one of those ones where I'm probably not going to guess correctly. And I didn't, because ultimately the person who it was, I was assuming, well, it can't be them. But as it went on, or when I'm looking back, it's like, no, it's actually does seem like that's who they were wanting me to think the whole time. I was overthinking it. But the movie was interesting. There was a lot of flogging and self-flagellation, if you prefer to call it that. And I did think early on, this movie has more, you could say, is more blasphemous in terms of how it's presenting the Catholic Church than a lot of the other giallo films that got accused of this in this same year, because they were, they had a priest as the killer or something like that. So I want to name those movies, but now I don't want to like spoil it. But some of those other ones where they have the priest as the killer, it's kind of like, that's it. Like, that's the thing that's like, oh, you're really sticking it to the church. And only one of them, it actually really works in terms of this person is taking their religious mindset and kind of twisting it to, I need to kill these people in order to save their souls. The other ones, it's like one person is not even a real priest. They're like hiding as a priest. Another one is, it's more of a personal matter. Like they're trying to kill these people out of revenge for their brother dying. This one, I was thinking, okay, I don't even know who the killer is yet, whether it is a priest or not. And it's already doing things that I'm like, no, see, this would be way more offensive, I would think, where you're seeing the priest having sex with, I think one of the sisters, and then having sex with a married woman. And then like you're seeing him flog himself. I'm like, that's not quite a big thing anymore. I mean, I guess I'm sure some people still do it, but in the 20th century, I don't think that was still being performed. The movie was interesting. If I recall, I think the special effects were done by Carlo Rambaldi. Yeah, because there's not a lot of killing in the movie. There's really only one murder that we see, if I recall. And it was good. It was handled very well. It looked graphic. And then there is a really good sequence where someone almost falls like off of a cliff, and that was shot very well. Beyond that, the music didn't really, I can't recall any of the music. That was Francesco Damasi who did that, and he's good, but the music just didn't really jump out to me. The writing was probably the strongest aspect of the movie, the writing and the acting. The directing was good. It was fine. But yeah, this is one of those ones that I will say is more of a slow burn, and there was nothing wrong with it. It was just kind of a little slow for me. But yeah. Anyways, check it out. The weapon, the hour, the motive. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have you seen this? Do you have the box set from Arrow that it's featured in? And beyond that, give me your predictions for what you think the AZ score for the movie will be, as well as the final Jolly Tally score. It might be kind of high. There were a couple scenes with a bunch of nude nuns, and it was kind of hard to keep track of how many of them we were looking at, but it was a finite amount. It would be like maybe 7 people. It wasn't like Tropic of Cancer where I couldn't even tell you how many people were in the scene, let alone how many of them were naked. But anyways, yeah, that's all I've got for this one. So short, sweet, to the point. This is Tanner Leeser for The King and Giallo, and if nothing else, I'll see you next time.
Scusate, sorelle, scusate. Non ho visto niente, sono in servizio.